लो प्लीज वेट। कभी दौड़ेंगे, कभी रुक जाएंगे, कभी ढूंढेंगे, कभी खो जाएंगे। कभी रूठेंगे, कभी खिल जाएंगे, कभी लड़ पड़ेंगे, कभी जुड़ जाएंगे, कभी उलझेंगे, कभी सुलझाएंगे, कभी हारेंगे, कभी जीत जाएंगे। यही है बचपन का रन रेट। क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। हमें रहने दो, पूरा पीने दो, खोलो बचपन के सब गेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। पापा मम्मी दादा दादी नाना नानी भैया दीदी कजन्स कॉलोनी टॉमी रानी गर्मी ठंडी खेल कहानी सबने अपने पेड़ पहाड़ खाना गाना लेटर्स नंबर्स। दुनिया हमारी फुल प्लेट। क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। यही ठीक है, यही सीख है, बचपन ही मेरी स्लेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट।
Hi everyone, good evening. Thank you so much for being here and welcome to the first masterclass of 2026. And so lovely to see all of you all enjoy that song. Welcome.
Good
So,
afternoon,
Bachpan
ma'am.
Manao has a very simple belief that the first 8 years are very, very precious. These are not years that need to be fixed, but something to see, celebrate, protect. Bachpan is great, invites us to notice that childhood is abundant, full of curiosity, play, stories, bonding, creativity, skills, learning, nature, and quiet time that already help children grow and thrive. So today's masterclass, small shifts, big feelings, integrating SEL into everyday activities, invites you in this same spirit of noticing what is already there and turning it into an opportunity. We're learning here today with Slam Out Loud, an organization that brings socio-emotional learning alive through arts, especially for children from under-resourced communities across India. Through poetry, theatre, storytelling, and visual art, Slam Out Loud helps children explore emotion, imagination, confidence, and connection, not as extras, but as part of how they learn and make sense of this world. Facilitating today's session is Revati, an arts based educator and curriculum designer. She's passionate about creating low resource, high impact experiences that support emotional literacy and holistic development. Today, we'll explore something very simple but a very powerful idea. What if integrating socio emotional learning didn't mean adding more to your plate, but rather repurposing what's already there? This is exactly how childhood's abundance lives, not in checklists, but in everyday wonder of play, expression, reflection, and relationships. Through a hands on activity, you will experience how a few small facilitation shifts, how we ask more questions, different questions, how we invite expression, how we hold space, really, can transform routine moments into a rich opportunity for emotional awareness, imagination, and connection. It really reflects how Bachpan is great, encourage us to engage with childhood by slowing down, as I should be, noticing abundance and valuing the process over perfection. By the end of the hour, we hope you walk away with a deeper understanding of how SEL supports holistic learning, a few concrete SEL tools you can use, and one activity that you can take straight into your classroom or home. We're really, really glad you're here. Let's begin. Revati, over to you.
Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction. Uh, I am very glad to be here, and it's lovely to see all of you joining us. Let me just get started. So, welcome to today's session. As we said, small shifts and big feelings. Not only I hope we get a takeaway from this, but also experience this in action today. What do small shifts help us? How do they help us create and understand bigger feelings? So let's get started. I would like us all to center ourselves first before we get into the session. To do that, I will like to request all of you to get comfortable. If you're sitting, I would encourage you to straighten your back, put your hands in your lap, maybe. If you're traveling or if you're somewhere outdoors, I would just say to bring focus to your body a little, relax, and whenever you're ready, just close your eyes. I'll give you a minute to get settled. As you sit comfortably, I would like you to focus your attention on your breathing. Take a deep breath in and exhale slowly. Take another deep breath in and exhale slowly. As you keep breathing deeply, I want you to pay attention to the different sensations in your body. Is there any tension in your shoulders? I would like you to relax your shoulders, maybe drop them. Move your attention to your face. Relax the muscles in your face. Unclench your jaw. Take another deep breath in and exhale slowly. Bring your awareness to the tips of your fingers and your toes. If you want to gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, you can do that. As we close this movement, I want you to think about your day so far. Everywhere you've been, all the things that were on your plate today. Think of a word that describes how your day has been so far, how you're entering this space today. Hold on to that word. We'll take another deep breath in and exhale slowly. And then gently open our eyes. Everyone who's opened their eyes and is ready now, has entered the space with us, can just maybe show me a thumbs up or say ready in the chat. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. The prompt for you in the chat that you can answer is, how are you walking into this space? This can be a single word to describe how you're feeling, a single word to describe your day. All of it is welcome. It can be curious, excited, it can be tired, maybe even distracted. There's no right way to show up. However it is, it's welcome here. I can see ready, curious, relaxed and curious, introspective, tired and curious. Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. Great. So now that we are fully here, I'll tell you a little bit about what we're going to do. We'll be engaging in 2 art activities. Don't worry, the art part is simple and I'll be guiding you every step of the way. And With that, I would also like to say that even if you don't have access to any paper or pen right now, that's okay. Let's try to keep the chat as active as possible, and we'll keep sharing our responses and thoughts in the chat so that all of us can engage into this space together. If that sounds good, let's dive into the activities. Okay, so the first activity is called Make a House. Now, this is something I'm sure all of us have done in our childhood countless of times. It's something that children have a tendency to draw right away when they, draw a scenery. So this is going to be nothing new. For this, again, just some resources you will need. A sheet of paper. It can be any sheet of paper. A page out of a notebook works. We don't need anything extra. A pen or a pencil, either is fine. If you have crayons, you can bring out some colors if you wish. If you don't have access to materials, that's okay. You can keep responding in the chat and we will take the activity forward. I'll give you a minute or two to sort of gather the resources. Once you have the resources, just show me a thumbs up and we can get started. Thank you. Gayatri has shown me a thumbs up. Okay, we have 2, 3 thumbs up so far. Let's have a few more and then we can get started with the activity. All right, let's get started. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I want you to imagine a house. It can be any kind of house that comes to your mind when I ask you to do this. It can be the houses that you've seen growing up. It can be a house you've seen in a picture. It can be your own house. And when you think of that, what are some shapes that you most commonly see when you're asked to draw a house? Can you just drop them in the chat? Or if someone wants to unmute and share, please feel free to do so. What are some common shapes that we think of when we are asked to draw a house? Yes, so we have triangle, rectangle, square, circles. Exactly. So these are the shapes we are going to be using to create this right now. I want you to draw a rectangle at the center of your paper. That will be the main part of the house. What the house needs now is a roof. And you can use any of these shapes to create a roof, a triangle, or perhaps another rectangle. If it's a building, you can just add another. So our house now has a roof or has, it's a building, so it's a rectangle. Our houses also need doors and windows. So I would like you to draw doors and windows using a square or a rectangle. You can also use circles to draw windows. I've seen a lot of kids like circular windows. So now our house is ready, and I want you to think of what is around this house. Is it on a street? Does it have a road outside? Are there cars on that road? Or is it somewhere outdoors where it's surrounded by trees, maybe a little garden? So you can take another minute to add these details. Maybe add some trees, a cloud, or if there are roads, maybe a road and a car. Also think of maybe what time of the day it is. If it's sunny outside, maybe add a sun. For those of us who don't have material right now and can't draw, maybe you can describe in the chat what are the things that you can see around this house that you're thinking of right now. Okay, there's someone who shares there's trees and a well. Thank you for sharing. We'll take another minute to finish creating this. Okay, someone's trying to draw a motorbike. There's a fence, a garden, and a sunset. We have trees, cats, flowers, and it's around sunset time. See a lot of trees and a sun. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for creating this. Let's move on to the next step. You can see on the screen, this is the house that I have drawn. You can tell I'm not probably too good with lines, so it's a little squiggly. But the house that I've drawn again has the similar kind of shapes that you had described. There are triangles, rectangle, there's a circle, and I have drawn some clouds, trees, a tree, and some flowers. So this is kind of the first image that came to my mind when I thought of drawing a house. So could you describe in one sentence the house that you have imagined or drawn? We already have a lot of responses in the chat, and a lot of them talk about there being trees around, there is a sun. So, more or less, we're all imagining a similar kind of a house. Some have also added animals, which is an interesting touch. There's someone who was trying to add a motorbike. So, there are a few creative touches that people have added, which is so lovely to see. So, great job, whoever was, scared of trying to do some art or maybe hasn't done art in a while. It's a wonderful process to be engaged in, and we all have created a nice house. Maybe it's your house, maybe it's a house you'd like to live in, but we all have ended up using the same shapes. We've created a beautiful picture of a house. Great. So, this is our first activity. Now we're going to get started with our second activity. It's slightly different, but again, I will be guiding you every step of the way. For this activity, I would be guiding you through a visualization, for which I would ask you to sit comfortably again. Whatever art material that you had around you right now, just let it be on the table. And again, put your hands on your uh, thighs if you can and get comfortable. Close your eyes once again. Okay, so once again, we will start by taking a deep breath in and exhale. Another deep breath in and exhale. One more deep breath in and exhale. Now, I want you to think of a place where you feel completely safe. Feeling safe can mean feeling comfortable, feeling like you're surrounded by familiar things, feeling like you can you're in a space where you can feel whatever it is you're feeling, say whatever it is you're thinking. And if you don't want to say anything at all, that would be fine too. This could be a real place. It's maybe your room, or maybe a corner of your house. It could be somewhere outdoors. It could be somewhere in nature, or it could be totally an imaginary place that you escape to from stories, something that only exists in your mind. And we're going to picture this space clearly, visualize it in our minds. Now, in this safe space, what do you see around you? Are there colors? What are the different colors? I want you to think of 5 colors that are there in this space. You can make a mental list. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors in this space. Are there any objects? Maybe people. It could be the people, could be family, it could be friends, some loved ones. It could also be animals. It could be your pet or your favorite animal. Notice what is around you. I want you to focus on 4 things that are around you. It could include your favorite things, it could include people, or it could have animals. Any 4 things. Now that we have visualized what it looks like, let's listen to this space. What do you hear? Is it silence? Then you can hear the sound of your own breath. Maybe it's voices, if it's people around you. Are they saying something to you? Are they telling you something? Or is your favorite song playing? If you are in nature, you can probably hear the rustle of leaves of the trees, maybe some birds singing, or simply the sound of the wind. Think of 3 sounds that you can hear in this space. Let's bring our attention to our body. How does your body feel in this safe space? Are you sitting down? Are you moving? How does it feel? Is your body feeling relaxed? Is it feeling warm, comforted? Notice how this feeling of safety, being in that space, feels in your body. Where is it that you're feeling it? Is your chest feeling lighter? Take another deep breath in this safe space and exhale. I want you to think of one word to describe this safe space. Take another deep breath and exhale slowly. And whenever you are ready, gently open your eyes. All right, welcome back uh, to this space now. The space that you clearly visualized in your mind. I want you all to put it on paper. That will be our next step, which is to draw our safe space. And we very clearly thought of different colors, different objects or people, sounds, as well as a word to describe it, how our body felt. But the key here is it can be a realistic drawing of a house or a room, but it doesn't have to be. It can also look like shapes, symbols. It can also be, you can also write about what you saw. So this is what we'll be doing and putting it on paper. We'll be drawing the space as we visualized it. And there are some prompts for you to keep in mind as you draw. And the thing to remember here is we're not focusing on how perfectly we can depict it. It's more of how best you can describe it and express it. So there's no bad art or there is no wrong way to do this. It's just how you felt in this space. So we'll take another 5 minutes to draw this. In the meanwhile, I would like people to share in the chat what this space was that they visualized. Also, if anyone would like to unmute and share about what they thought of, please feel free to do so. Okay, we have a response in the chat. The safe space for the safe space they've described looks like a small room with books, coffee, and I'm lying in the bed looking at birds from the window and reading. The colors are blue, white, a bit of green, gray, and purple. That's a really nice picture. Thank you for sharing, Sherry. Would love to hear from more people. What is it that they were able to visualize? Okay, we have another response. They're sharing a small cottage in the middle of a terrace garden, surrounded by trees, mountains, and the whole place for them is bright yet comforting. There's birds chirping around, it is calm, and only the sound of leaves rustling in the wind. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. There's also another response. They're sharing मैं अपने ऑफिस में बैठे हुए बच्चे के आवाज और ठंड महसूस किया. Interesting visualization. Thank you for sharing. All right. I think we'll take another 2 minutes to wrap up drawing our safe space. There's more responses in the chat. A house where I felt I belonged to with all my friends and my pet, and everyone are giggling and I felt relaxed. That is what I imagined as my safe space. Thank you for sharing that. I think all of us can relate with this. Great. Please keep sharing responses on the chat. Let's go ahead and think about the one feeling that we all were thinking towards the end of the visualization. And we're going to try and name that emotion. So you can maybe scan the QR code on the screen or look at the link that will be shared in the chat, that's been shared in the chat, where you will get a question, which is what are some emotions you felt while drawing or visualizing this safe space? I would like you all to type out the emotions. For ease of naming them, there is an emotion wheel on the screen that you can perhaps use. Yes, I do see some people sharing in the chat. I would also request you to add these responses on the Mentimeter link so that all of us can see all our responses together. Okay, I see a lot of calm and happy. Okay, that is interesting. Excited to draw. Someone felt excited to draw. So here, no safe space, like no two safe spaces look the same, right? There are so many vivid descriptions of what each safe space looks like to that person. Yet, all of us end up feeling like it evokes the similar kind of feelings among all of us. There is relaxed, there is peaceful, there is calm, and there is happy. So, even though we did the same drawing activity, we had the same prompts, we visualized to the same prompts, all the way we imagined it looked so different for each person, but we were able to sort of capture that in the way we drew it or way we thought about it. So that is kind of the beauty of visualizing something and then creating it. It brings out your personal experiences, it brings out your emotions. Some people went and thought about their loved ones, some people went and thought about places that they wanted to be in. Not necessary that they were all, real spaces, but you sort of escaped a little bit and thought of a space that brought you the feeling of safety, brought you the feeling of being calm. So thank you for engaging in this activity. And now we can talk about the two experiences that we had right now. What I want you to think about, maybe share in the chat, or if anyone would like to again unmute and talk about, is what is it that shifted for you between these two activities? What is something that stood out to you as you engaged in both of these activities? They were kind of similar where we engaged in creating some sort of drawing, and both had prompts as well. So, but which activity felt more meaningful to engage in for you and why? So you can answer either of these in the chat. What is it that stood out and which activity felt more meaningful for you? Okay, the second activity was more thoughtful. Okay, my safe space. Can someone share why is it that we felt such a difference while doing? Yes, someone's already shared. The second activity because it had a purpose and felt more connected. Safety is a core need. That's quite true. You were able to bring more of your own expression. That's why you felt the connection. Great. All of these are wonderful to hear. Imaginary and emotions. The second one was more personal, had to engage with it deeply. Exactly. So what I want us to notice here is that, um, to summarize what is coming up in the chat as well, is in the first activity, we were all sort of following some sort of template, right? We were thinking about what shapes we've seen, how to organize them. There was a certain level of replication happening. There was skill execution. We were following some directions. So this is what we were doing in the first activity, which is in itself okay to do as well, right? Some people like the structure and like to be able to follow through. The second activity, however, is a lot of you found more meaningful, had a level of personal meaning, it had emotional expression, it had a creative interpretation. So even though there were a set of prompts, there was the freedom to explore them, to interpret them in ways that came up for you, in ways that you wanted, that you had room to talk about your own experience of visualizing that space, of being in that space. So this is kind of where we shifted uh, how we approached the same activity. We were both, in both activities, we were trying to create an image of a house, even though the second activity, it was not strictly about the house, but rather what it meant to you. It became more personal. So that's what we're seeing in the responses as well. Someone has shared the second activity helped me with introspection and made me understand what my safe space is. Thank you for sharing that. That is lovely to hear, because that's exactly what we're trying to do, to understand what it means for ourselves. So let's kind of take a step back and look at both of these two activities and figure out why is it that we found the second one to be more meaningful. First of all, we placed ourselves in that space, right? We were visualizing, we were thinking of certain experiences. The prompts really asked you to actively engage in that imagination. You had to think of 5 colors, you had to think of sounds. So you had to imagine it in order to be able to recreate it later on. And sometimes the way we make connections, we without even realizing it, is we end up thinking about people, end up thinking about places, and that's not what we started with. It's just the more deeper we're pushed to think, and the more clearer our visualization becomes, we make these connections and then later on realize certain things about how we feel about spaces, which in this case was a home or a house or a safe space. So that brings us to social emotional learning competencies. Uh, we engaged in these competencies right now without having to do anything extra. We already created a drawing, created an activity, but we used certain tools, we used certain prompts that helped us to see more clearly what we were feeling about it. The first one is emotional awareness, which is expressing the reason behind why you're feeling a certain way. And we did that from the start. We did a centering exercise with thinking about how we were feeling in that moment. Then we also did the visualization, which took us to a different space and made us think deeply about certain emotions that space was evoking. And then emotions can often be hard to name and hard to place. But art became a medium for us to turn it into give it some form, maybe through shapes, symbols, maybe by connecting it to experiences and people. So it helped the invisible emotions become more visible and easier to follow. Next is imagination. A huge part of this activity was adding details to an existing idea, because a safe space just by itself doesn't mean a lot of things. But when you actively engage in a visualization, try to think of different things that it means for you, you end up connecting and figure out different possibilities. And the creations that we did, the descriptions that are there in the chat, are something unique to you and your experiences. So we engage in imagination a lot. And then participation, of course, because we were right from the centering exercise, you had to stop thinking about whatever you were thinking to be a part of the space, and in the visualization as well. Someone also shared like drawing made them happy, made them relaxed. It's another way to disconnect from whatever is going on at the back of our mind to be a part of this process. And the sharing that is happening in the chat is an opportunity for us to, engage in discussions, learn, and listen to each other's experiences, which you often find out we have more things in common without realizing, right? So these are the 3 social emotional learning competencies that we engaged in through this activity. So when these 3 competencies work together, they promote holistic development. We're not developing one particular skill in isolation, but we're actually developing different capacities when we use them in classroom, such as the emotional capacity to understand and regulate your feelings. So safe spaces can mean different things to different people. Even homes can mean different things to different people. But being able to name that emotion is a first step to regulate it. Then there is also the social capacity to engage, learn, and share from with others. Then there is the cognitive and creative capacity to imagine, and create and express. So these are different things that support the holistic development of a child, because children are already doing these things. It is just that these special facilitation inputs, certain prompts, and certain tools we use today push for more depth, push for more engagement, and it really uh, helps us honor the whole child and not just focus on one skill in isolation. And a huge part of what we do at Sam Out Loud is using art as a bridge, as a medium, to be able to successfully build these skills in children. So art enhances learning and SEL practice. So it provides opportunities to put things together. For example, drawing an emotion, connecting it with shapes and colors, helps us verbalize it, which might be a difficult thing to do sometimes. Children are able to articulate things, describe things better if there is a medium such as art as a supporting thing. Art also creates safe spaces for authentic engagement, because throughout the creation process, something that we have been emphasizing on is there is no right way to do it, right? It's your expression. There is no right way to feel a feeling. It's how your experience of it is. So it reduces the fear of mistakes. It creates room for children to take part in the process in their own unique way, and helps them become like truly find their voice in a classroom. So these are some of the ways that art as a tool can really help when you use it in combination and use art based tools to build social emotional learning competencies. Now, what does it look like in action, right? Because we experienced an activity, but how does it look like in a, let's say, like a classroom setting? So I just wanted to share some stories from our classrooms to sort of show you how this really helps do whatever we discussed right now. So this actually is from my classroom 3 years ago. We were doing an activity similar to the one that we did today called When I Am Home. And it was around exploring our emotions around home. And the activity here, the art form here is actually poetry, while we did it using visual art right now. And the reason why it's poetry is because a lot of my students struggled with writing and literacy. So they wouldn't attempt it at all. They were afraid of spelling and grammar and being able to write it properly. So they wouldn't attempt it at all. So what we did is we engaged in similar visualization where you can see that they're also talking about how it feels, how home sounds, how the home looks, and how it tastes even. So we really focused on imagining these little parts of their own houses and then writing a poem on that. And these are poems I hold really close to my heart. I'll read them out. I'll read one out for all of us. One says, "My home smells like a rose flower. My home sounds like shouting. My home feels like free and sleepy. My home looks like father do hard work. My home tastes like spicy." So, with just a simple visualization and a poetry prompt, this child has been able to share so much about what their home means to them, what their parents, their family means to them. And they have been able to tell their story without any extra add-ons or any uh, other, only by using just facilitation shifts and creating this space for them to explore this theme on their own. So these are the two poems I wanted to share. And there's one more story about a student from one of our other Jijivisha classrooms. So this is a story about a student who, really loved doing visual arts and used to complete everything that we did during class time, but rarely shared whatever he created or the artworks that came out. But through classroom discussions where, we had such reflective prompts for student sharing, he really started speaking up. That was the point where he was like, okay, wait, I have something that I want to share. And because he shared, it maybe motivated a few of the other students to share as well. And then through different segments, like doing a showtime segment maybe, where students can, show their artwork and share about what it means to them. That kind of became a space where more and more he started participating in the class and became more engaged. And then later on, he went on to perform at our open mic event. And since then, he's been continuing to engage in art, and he's also become a peer leader. So this was quite a journey for him, from not sharing his art at all to becoming a peer leader, coming up and telling stories in front of the classroom. And this is something that really stayed with us when he was asked what he wants to do to change, what he wants to change in the world. And he said, I want to change people's thinking that only A grade students are good. All students have talent, which grades cannot determine. So he's been able to um, understand that for himself, like where his talents lie, and he's also a peer leader, right? So having this perspective will really foster appreciation for different types of classmates he has, and he feels, you can really tell he feels valued being a part of the classroom and for the different gifts he brings to that space. So this is what has happened when we make these smaller shifts and try to give more room for students and their expression. uh, yeah, so that is our SEL, integrating SEL into everyday activities. Here on the screen you can see some elements you can add to your own activities that you do at home or at school. So one can be an emotion check-in. This can happen during the start of the day, similar to a breathing or a grounding exercise that we did at the start of the session. Or it can even be done when you can feel that the child is feeling distracted or dysregulated. Then there is reflection and sharing time. This can include reflective prompts, ones that helped us sort of create drawing, the artwork that we did right now. This can also be used throughout your lessons. These can be used to sort of conclude something that was being discussed or taught. And then the next one is having a creative expression option. So not all kids will want to engage in creating a drawing. Some will just want to write. Some will not want to write or draw, but narrate maybe. So they also have that option of doing a storytelling other than just drawing or writing. So these are smaller ways to help students become part of the same class that is being taught, or the same topic that is being discussed. Then there's also a personal meaning making prompt, which is what our activities were today. So instead of, creating a drawing of a house, maybe create a drawing of your safe space, maybe create a drawing of, so we just add ways for them to connect it to their lives, to the people in their lives, and help them bring more of their stories into whatever is being created. So these are smaller add-ons to your existing lessons or topics that you can do. We also will be sending you a post-session toolkit, which will include the My Safe Space activity adapted for 6 to 8 years of age. We'll have some tools for emotional awareness and imagination that you can use. And we'll also have a set of check-in prompts, which will have some art-based prompts, some movement for you to do between lessons, or wherever it is that you engage with children. So do try out all of these resources and let us know uh, how they work. And now I would like you all to share an element you're looking forward to incorporating in in your class, or maybe with children that you work with. There's a fill in the blank that's been shared, which says that activity that you already do and the SEL element that you want to add to it. You can also just, yes, number 3. And You already do the rest. That's great. Amazing. Okay. Someone already does activities in creative expression. They want to add all of the SEL elements. Great. All right. So we can keep sharing in the chat, and it also would be great if you can tell us about, if you want to unmute and tell us about what is it that you're looking forward to incorporating. And I think I'll now hand it over to Hita.
Thank you so much, Revati. That was a beautiful session. I got to draw also after a long time. So that was wonderful. If anyone has any questions or want to share any reflections, this will be a great time to kind of unmute or put your questions or notes in the chat. We're here for a few more minutes till 5. So yeah, the mic is open for all of you. I think for me personally, two things that really stood out. Just the open-endedness of the prompts and that space in time, that pause to actually kind of reflect. I think a lot of things we're trying to finish and we're trying to do quick and, check the box that it's done. So to that extent, it was just so unrushed, which is always really pleasant to experience. And the second thing, how you've kind of made such a simple kind of takeaway right here. Like even just a screenshot of this page would be a fantastic card takeaway. Deepak, do you want to unmute and share?
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Thank you so much for the session. I really love the way everything was scaffolded and how simple the activities were, at the same time, how effective they were. One thing I have had felt working with the teachers is that a lot of times, like this comes at, ठीक है, SLS अच्छी बात है, लेकिन how do we do that? रोज के schedule में where is the time? And then Anandam ka curriculum is there, right? Happiness curriculum is there, but how do we implement that? So these kind of simple approaches really help in terms of solving that problem. कि कुछ बहुत out of the way जाके नहीं करना है. We can just do that Saturday art class. We can just pick that up and do the SEL activity, do a simple feeling check-in. So it was a very important session in terms of, for me, in terms of showing a path forward, that this is one simple approach I can pick up and just implement in the school. So in that way, very helpful. Also the tools that were provided at the end, that I will definitely use. So yeah, thank you for the session again.
Thank you. Thank you so much. That's wonderful to hear.
Thank you. Hi, Gayatri. Do you want to unmute and share?
Yes, hi Heta, hi Revati. Thanks for that great session. I think I also had a wonderful time drawing and just letting my feelings out. So my question was related to the prompts that you were talking about. So let's say educators have gathered information or at least the emotions of children through our various reflection prompts and activities. I wanted to know how they can take it forward, as in how do they either document that data or use that data for their everyday classrooms.
Okay, yeah, that's a great question. I think what this sort of I think something that I often did in when I did my classes, of course, and was that you sort of, once you have the hang of what are certain emotions that a child is feeling, you can easily connect it to like the way that they learn, right? The way that they're able to be present in the classroom. And as you said, documenting it. So something that is a good visual tool to have in a class is maybe like a mood tracker for kids, for them to sort of map how they are feeling through the day. You can also have a color coded emotion zone chart in your class, which sort of tells, like, students can on their own do like a quick check of where am I at today. Am I feeling red, which can be feelings of, there may be feeling disengaged, there may be feeling low energy, or am I feeling yellow somewhere? I'm in the middle of it. I'll maybe like resolve it through the day, or maybe I'm green, I'm ready to go, I'm ready to like engage in this class today. This also helps us as educators to figure out how to balance the class in a way that all of these students are engaged. So I think these visual tools also make it a daily habit of students to keep check of how I am feeling. So instead of you always prompting like, so how are you feeling today, they learn to sort of inculcate it as a habit and have it around in the class and do it every day. So documenting it like this could be like a good way to have it as a classroom practice, make it into a habit. So regulation doesn't always look like an educator having to step away from the lesson and sitting with the child, which always may not be possible, right? Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Gayatri, for your question, Deepak, for your reflection. Thank you, Revati, for taking time out for conducting this session. Thank you, everyone, for joining and being so engaged. Hema's also dropped a few links in the chat. Should you wish to reach out to us, reach out to Revati and Slam Out Loud, please do take the details. The following masterclasses coming up will also be posted here. So thank you so much. We hope you had a lovely evening and yeah, have a lovely rest of the day.
Thank you for joining.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
जल्दी ना करो, अरे टेंशन ना लो, वेट 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 वेट, फ्लो में है हम सेट, थोड़ा चिल कर लो, प्लीज वेट। कभी दौड़ेंगे, कभी रुक जाएंगे, कभी ढूंढेंगे, कभी खो जाएंगे, कभी रूठेंगे, कभी खिल जाएंगे, कभी लड़ पड़ेंगे, कभी जुड़ जाएंगे, कभी उलझेंगे, कभी सुलझाएंगे, कभी हारेंगे, कभी जीत जाएंगे। यही है बचपन का रन रेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। हमें रहने दो, पूरा पीने दो, खोलो बचपन के सब गेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। थोड़ा चिल कर लो प्लीज वेट, क्योंकि बचपन इज ग्रेट। पापा मम्मी दादा दादी नाना नानी भैया दीदी कजन्स कॉलोनी टॉमी रानी गर्मी ठंडी खेल कहानी सबने अपने पेड़ पहाड़ खाना गाना लेटर्स नंबर्स